Hi everyone, this is about making and using of graphs in economics, which is a small addition in the first chapter. Different varieties of graphs are used or you see in economics, and graph is a pictorial representation of the data, and the most common types of graphs that are used is the Cartesian coordinate system. To give a basic idea of graph, a graph is a two-dimensional representation of a set of numbers or data. There are many ways that numbers can be illustrated by graph. And in economics, the most common method of graphing two variables is Cartesian coordinate system. So you can see the picture here of a two Cartesian system, wherein all the graphs on Cartesian coordinate system have axes. You can see there is x-axis and y-axis, uh, which measures quantities as distances and shows the relationship between two variables. And to construct a graph, you need two axes and two lines that are perpendicular to each other. And the vertical line is called the y-axis and the horizontal line is called the x-axis. The point where x-axis and y-axis intersect is called point of origin. When two variables are related, the independent variable is one that changes in response to changes in the independent variable. So here independent variable, it's also called base, which is on the x-axis, and the independent variable is on the y-axis. Next comes interpret the graphs used in economic model. The most common types of graphs which are used in economics are of three main types. One is line time graphs, the second is cross-section graphs, which uses bar charts, and the third is scatter diagrams. You can also see the different types of bar charts which are used for cross-section data. One is simple bar graph, another one is clustered or grouped bar graph. The next comes segmented or divided bar graph. Let's see each one of them in detail. The first one is timeline graphs. Line graphs easily and clearly present a large quantity of statistical data. Economists use line graphs to illustrate patterns or trends over time and to explain relationship between two or more variables. One common line graph is called time series, in which the horizontal axis shows time, for example month or year, and the vertical axis displays another variable. Thus, a time series graph shows how a variable changes over time. A time series conveys an enormous amount of information quickly and easily. It shows when the values is high or low, rising or falling quickly or slowly. The time series also reveals whether the variable has a trend. A trend is a general tendency of the value of a variable to rise or fall over time. On the right hand side, you see a line graph of two variables, weight and length, of boys and girls, and on the left hand side you see a time series graph in which the year is measured on the x-axis and the price of a coffee is measured on the y-axis. And you can also see the different trends of high, low, rising quickly, rising slowly, falling quickly, and falling slowly on the graph. The second type of graph that is very widely used in economics is scatter diagrams. It reveals the relationship between two variables. It also helps us to know the correlation between two variables. It is a graph of the value of one variable against the value of the other variable. It is used to reveal whether a relationship exists between two variables and to describe the relationships. This scatter plot reveals that as income increases, expenditure also increases. The figure B shows the relationship during the 1990s between the percentage of Americans who own a cell phone and the average monthly cell phone bill. This scatter diagram reveals that as the cost of using a cell phone falls, the number of cell phone subscribers increases. The third important graph that is very widely used in economics is cross-section graph, which is displayed with the help of bar graphs. It shows the values of economic variable for different groups in a population at a point in time. Whenever categories are used, so bar graphs comes to help. The picture on the left shows the bar charts using cross-sectional data. The figure on the left-hand side shows the bars that can represent countries or years, and show the vertical axis can represent a numerical or a percentage value. Bar graphs can also compare size, quantity, rates, distances, and other quantitative categories. This cross-section data on the right side compare the number of visitors to each province in 2004. The other one is pie chart. A pie graph or a pie chart is used to show how an overall total is divided into parts. A circle represents a group as a whole. The slices of this circular pie show the relative size of subgroups. In a pie graph, each slice of a pie represents a share of the total or a percentage. Let's see which graph to use for what data. Okay. Pie graphs are often better than line graphs at showing how an overall group is divided. However, if a pie graph has too many slices, it can become difficult to interpret. Bar graphs are especially useful when comparing quantities. For example, if you're studying the population of different countries, bar graphs can show the relationship between the population sizes of multiple countries. Not only can it show this relationship, but it can also show breakdowns of different groups within the population. A line graph is often the most effective format for illustrating a relationship between two variables that are both changing. For example, time series graphs can show pattern as time changes, like the unemployment rate over time. Line graphs are widely used in economics to present continuous data about prices, wages, quantities bought and sold, the size of the economy. The next comes interpreting graphs used in economic models. How do you interpret graphs? The graphs can have positive relationship or direct relationship when two variables that move in the same direction. It means if x increases, y also increases. If x decreases, y also decreases. Where it can also have negative relationship or indirect relationship. It is also called inverse relationship, in which two variables move in the opposite direction. It means if x increases, y decreases. If y decreases, x increases. A graph can also have a linear relationship and a non-linear relationship. A linear relationship is a relationship that graphs as a straight line, whereas a non-linear relationship graph as a curve, which may take various shapes. The graph about variables that have maximum and minimum. These relationships have part of their range positive and negative over the other part, which is you can see in the graph. This is about the variables that are unrelated. So in the figure A, the price of bananas increases, the student's grade in economics remain at 75%. So both are unrelated variables. They're not related to each other. So these variables, the curve is horizontal for such variables. And the slope of these variables is 0. In the part B, the vineyards of France produces 3 billion gallons of wine no matter what the rainfall is in California. So these variables are unrelated and the curve is vertical. Here the x is constant. On the right hand side, y is constant. Let's study something about slope of a graph. A slope of a relationship is a change in value of a variable measured on the y-axis divided by the change in the value of a variable measured on the x-axis. So a slope measures change in y over change in x. It means how y changes to the changes in x, because x is an independent variable whereas y is a dependent variable. Since y is a dependent variable, it changes. On a graph we study how y changes to the changes in x, which is called slope. So we use Greek letter D to represent change in. So dy means the change in the value of variable measured on y-axis, and dx means the change in value of the variable measured on the x-axis. So the slope of the relationship is dy over dx. Slope can be either positive or a negative number. It can also be 0 if the straight line is perfectly horizontal, in which case the change in y and equals 0. So this is the visual representation of positive, negative and 0 slope. In the first picture you see the positive slope, in which the graph has an upward sloping curve, and whereas in the second is a negative slope in which it has a downward sloping, the graph is downward sloping or a negative sloping curve, and the third has a 0 slope in which it is horizontal. Let's study the slope of a curved line. How do you calculate the slope on a curved line? We can calculate the slope of a curved line either at a point or across an arc. So here the slope of a curved line at a point is equal to the slope of a straight line that is the tangent to that line. Here we calculate the slope of the curve at point A. So the average slope of a curved line across an arc is equal to the slope of a straight line that joins the endpoints of the arc. Here we calculate the average slope of the curve along the arc BC, which is visualized in the graph. Graphing relationships among more than two variables. How do you graph when there are more than two variables? So when the relationship involves more than two variables, we can plot the relationship between two of the variables by holding other variables constant by using ceteris paribus. So we use a concept called ceteris paribus, which is a Latin word which means if all other relevant things remain the same. So here it is illustrated with an example. Here in the below figure shows the relationship among three variables: price, consumption and temperature. In the part here shows the relationship between price and consumption when temperature is held constant. And the part B shows the relationship between temperature and consumption when price is held constant. And the third is part C, shows the relationship between temperature and price when consumption is held constant. That's it with the first chapter. Thanks for watching.